powerful, so ridiculously effective, they'll make you feel like a Jedi mind trick master. But fair warning, these aren't your typical be nice and smile tips. Some of these are bold, others are a little sneaky, and one might just make you rethink how you've been communicating your whole life. But here's the thing, it's not just about persuading others, it's about understanding why these phrases work and how they can change the way you connect with the world. And by the end of this video, you won't just talk differently, you'll think differently too. 1. I believe in you. Let's talk about a phrase that's so simple, it almost feels too good to be true. I believe in you. On the surface, it sounds like something straight out of a cheesy self-help book, right? But here's the controversial twist. Most people don't actually mean it when they say it. And that's the real problem. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, I believe in you, just because it was the thing to say? Like when your manager says it in a meeting, but their tone is flatter than week-old soda, or when a friend throws it out there, but they're too distracted scrolling Instagram to actually feel it. Here's the truth. Saying, I believe in you without meaning, it is worse than not saying it at all. Why? Because it feels hollow. It's like giving someone an empty gift box. On the outside, it looks supportive, but inside, there's nothing. Now, let me get real with you. The first time I truly understood the power of this phrase was during one of the darkest moments of my life. I was in college, completely overwhelmed by work, failing 2 classes, and on the verge of quitting. One day, my professor, who I was convinced didn't even like me, pulled me aside. He didn't give me a lecture or a pep talk. He just said, I believe in you. You're capable of more than this, and I know you can turn it around. That moment hit me like a freight train. He didn't sugarcoat my situation. He didn't pretend everything was fine. He acknowledged the mess I was in, but then he chose to believe in my ability to climb out of it. That belief sparked something in me. I ended up acing those classes, not because of a miracle, but because someone believed in me enough to make me believe in myself. Now here's the controversial part. Sometimes I believe in you is the wrong thing to say. If someone's in a situation they shouldn't be in, like a toxic relationship, a job that's breaking them, or a goal that's clearly not aligned with who they are, blindly encouraging them can do more harm than good. Telling someone you believe in them when they need an honest reality check is not support, it's sabotage. But when it's genuine, when it's rooted in real faith in someone's potential, it's transformative. And here's the kicker. Saying, I believe in you isn't about you at all. It's about giving someone else permission to believe in themselves. So, if you're going to use this phrase, and I hope you do, make sure it comes from a place of truth. Look them in the eye, mean it with your whole heart, and don't just say it when things are easy. Say it when they're on the edge, doubting themselves, and need to hear it most. Because when it's real, I believe in you is more than just words. It's a lifeline. It's a light in the dark. And sometimes it's the difference between someone giving up and finding the strength to keep going. And hey, if no one's told you today, I believe in you, you've got this. 2. I know exactly how you feel. Let's talk about one of the most well-meaning yet problematic phrases out there. I know exactly how you feel. At first glance, it seems like the epitome of empathy, a way to bridge the gap between 2 people and say, you're not alone. But here's the thing, most of the time it's not true. Here's why it's controversial. Claiming to know exactly how someone feels is bold, presumptive, and often a little dishonest. It's almost like we're trying to shortcut the messy, complicated process of understanding someone's pain by slapping a label of sameness on it. But here's the kicker. No 2 people ever feel exactly the same way about anything. Your experiences, your upbringing, your personality, your mental state, All these factors create a unique lens through which you experience life. Imagine this. Your friend just went through a bitter divorce, and you say, "I know exactly how you feel," because you had a bad breakup once. It's not the same. To them, you just trivialized years of marriage, kids, and shared dreams by comparing it to your ex ghosting you after 6 months. Even if you mean well, it can feel dismissive. Now, let me hit you with a personal story. A few years ago, one of my closest friends lost her job, a role she had poured her heart and soul into for years. She was devastated, questioning her self-worth and her entire career path. I had been laid off before, so I thought I'd connect by saying, "I know exactly how you feel." But instead of comforting her, it backfired spectacularly. She snapped, "No, you don't. You hated your job anyway. This was my dream, and now it's gone." That hit me hard, not because she was wrong, but because she was right. I had been trying to relate to her pain instead of just sitting with it. Instead of making her feel seen, I made it about me. From that moment on, I realized the real power of empathy isn't in claiming to understand. It's in showing up, listening, and validating someone's feelings without pretending to have all the answers. Let's not get it twisted, though. This phrase isn't always a bad thing. There are moments where it lands perfectly, like when someone is desperately searching for someone who's been through the exact same thing. For example, when I connected with another parent who had also lost a child, their "I know exactly how you feel" didn't offend me. It comforted me. It made me feel less isolated because I knew they really did understand that unique kind of pain. But even in those rare moments of shared experience, it's still tricky. Why? Because emotions are deeply personal. When someone says, "I know exactly how you feel," it can unintentionally shut down the conversation. It puts a period at the end of the sentence instead of inviting the other person to express more. Here's where it gets interesting and a little funny. There have been times when this phrase failed so badly it turned into comedy gold. Like the time I tried to console a friend going through her first heartbreak by saying, "I know exactly how you feel." Her response, "Oh, really? Did your college boyfriend dump you for your roommate while you were helping him pay rent?" Touché. We both ended up laughing because my attempt at solidarity was so off base, it was ridiculous. But there's a deeper takeaway here. "I know exactly how you feel" can come across as self-centered if it's not paired with real listening and humility. Instead of connecting, it can feel like a verbal hijack, shifting the focus from their emotions to your experience. And sometimes, all people need is for you to sit in the mess with them, not fix it or claim to understand it. So, what should you say instead? Here are a few alternatives that can create connection without overstepping. "I can't imagine exactly how you feel, but I'm here for you." That sounds really hard. Do you want to talk about it? "I've been through something similar. Want to hear about it?" Or would you rather I just listen? These phrases do something crucial. They give space. They acknowledge the other person's unique pain while offering support. They say, "I see you, I care about you, I'm here for you," without presuming to know the full extent of their experience. Here's the deep message. Real empathy isn't about proving you understand. It's about being present. It's about stepping into someone else's world and saying, "I may not know exactly how you feel, but I'm willing to walk alongside you through it." And if you're ever on the receiving end of this phrase and it doesn't feel right, try to extend some grace. The person saying it might not have the perfect words, but their intention is likely to show care. Sometimes that effort, flawed as it may be, is what truly matters. So the next time you feel the urge to say, "I know exactly how you feel," pause, ask yourself, "Do I really?" And even if the answer is no, Remember that just being there for someone, listening, caring, and holding space can mean more than any words ever could. 3. Most people in your position would... Let's unpack a phrase that can either feel like the world's best pep talk or the ultimate backhanded compliment. Most people in your position would. On the surface, it's a clever way to frame a suggestion without sounding bossy. But dig a little deeper, and you'll see why this phrase can be both powerful and problematic, depending on how you use it. Here's the honest truth. Most people in your position would. Works because it appeals to one of our deepest human instincts, the desire to fit in. Whether we like to admit it or not, we care about what others do and think, and we often model our decisions after those around us. This phrase takes advantage of that psychology by subtly aligning the listener with a group or behavior that feels safe or acceptable. But here's the controversial part. When used carelessly, this phrase can feel manipulative, even patronizing. Imagine saying to someone struggling with anxiety, most people in your position would just take a deep breath and move on. That's not empathy, it's gaslighting. And the unspoken message is clear. Why aren't you as strong as most people? I learned this lesson the hard way. Years ago, I was mentoring a junior colleague who was debating whether to speak up in a meeting. I, in my infinite wisdom, cue sarcasm, said, most people in your position would jump at the chance to impress the boss. I thought I was motivating them. Instead, I unintentionally made them feel inadequate, like they were the only one too scared to step up. They later told me I didn't need to hear about most people. I needed to hear that I could do it. That moment hit me like a ton of bricks. It taught me that this phrase, while powerful, needs to be wielded carefully and with genuine intention. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Most people in your position would can also be a game changer when used thoughtfully. Take this example from my own life. I was terrified to negotiate my first salary. I thought, what if they think I'm greedy? What if they say no? Then a mentor told me, most people in your position would at least ask. And if they say no, so what? You're no worse off than you are now. That simple reframing shifted everything. Instead of focusing on my fear, I thought, if most people can do this, maybe I can too. I ended up negotiating a better package, and that one phrase gave me the courage to try. Here's the jovial twist. Sometimes this phrase lands hilariously wrong, especially when most people clearly wouldn't do what you're suggesting. Like the time I tried to encourage my friend to try karaoke by saying, most people in your position would just go for it. Her deadpan response, most people don't have stage fright so bad they sweat through their shoes. Fair point. We laughed about it later, but it was a reminder that context is everything. Now let's get to the deep message. Most people in your position would is more than just words. It's an opportunity to give someone perspective. It gently challenges them to think beyond their immediate fear or self-doubt and consider what's possible. But it only works if it's rooted in truth and empathy. Here's how to use it wisely. Be specific and authentic. Don't make up scenarios just to push someone in a direction you want. For example, instead of saying, most people in your position would take the risk, say, most people who've succeeded at this had to start where you are now. They took the risk, and it paid off. Focus on encouragement, not judgment. Avoid making it sound like a comparison. Instead of, most people would handle this better, try, most people would feel exactly how you're feeling, but they'd also realize they're stronger than they think. Make it personal if you can. Share examples that resonate with the listener. For instance, I've seen others in your position make this choice, and it's been a game changer for them. Ultimately, most people in your position would is about planting a seed of possibility. It's not about shaming someone into action or pretending there's one right way to handle a situation. It's about helping them see a path forward by aligning their courage with the wisdom of the collective. Here's the real takeaway. When used with care, this phrase can inspire someone to rise to the occasion. But if it's tossed out casually or with a hint of judgment, it can backfire spectacularly. So, the next time you feel tempted to say, most people in your position would, ask yourself, am I lifting them up or tearing them down? Because here's the truth. It doesn't matter what most people would do. What matters is helping this person see their own potential in their own unique way. And when you get that right, it's pure magic. 4. Here's what I'm thinking. Let's take a closer look at one of the simplest, yet sneakiest ways to persuade someone. Here's what I'm thinking. On the surface, this phrase seems innocent enough. It's just you sharing your thoughts, right? But underneath, it's actually a masterclass in subtle influence and building trust, if you know how to use it correctly. Here's the honest truth. Here's what I'm thinking works because it does something magical. It opens a conversational door without shoving anyone through it. Unlike a command or an outright suggestion, it frames your perspective as just that, a perspective. It's non-threatening, collaborative, and invites the other person to engage with you rather than feel steamrolled. But here's the controversial twist. This phrase can also be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Sometimes people use, here's what I'm thinking, as a way to manipulate or dominate a conversation while pretending to be collaborative. It's like saying, I want you to agree with me, but I'm going to make it seem like it's your idea. Ever been in a meeting where someone says, here's what I'm thinking, and it's clear they've already decided what's happening? Yeah, me too. It's infuriating. Now, let me share a personal experience where this phrase completely transformed a conversation. A few years ago, I was working on a team project that was going off the rails. Everyone had different ideas, and the tension in the room was palpable. I was about to blurt out, we need to do it my way, but instead I took a deep breath and said, here's what I'm thinking. Why don't we combine parts of everyone's ideas and create a hybrid solution? That slight change in phrasing was a game changer. It didn't feel like I was imposing my will. It felt like I was offering a starting point for collaboration. And guess what? People actually listened. They didn't feel defensive or dismissed, and we ended up with a solution everyone could get behind. Here's where the jovial side of this comes in. Here's what I'm thinking can sometimes set you up for hilarious miscommunication if you're not clear enough. I once used this phrase on a road trip with friends when we got lost. I said, here's what I'm thinking. Let's take the next left and see where it goes. My friend misheard me and thought I said next lift and spent 10 minutes looking for a tow truck. By the time we figured it out, we were laughing so hard we forgot we were lost. But here's the deeper message behind this phrase. It's not just about persuasion, it's about respect. When you say, here's what I'm thinking, you're signaling to the other person, I value your input. You're creating space for dialogue rather than dictating an outcome. And in a world where so many people feel unheard, that simple gesture can mean everything. That said, here's a word of caution. Here's what I'm thinking can backfire if it's not backed by genuine openness. If you're just saying it to sound diplomatic, but have no intention of considering other perspectives, people will see through it. It's like inviting someone to dinner and then not letting them pick anything from the menu. So, how do you use this phrase effectively? Be clear and concise. Don't meander. Say what you're thinking in a way that's easy to engage with. For example, here's what I'm thinking. What if we try this approach for a week and then re-evaluate? Leave room for feedback. Follow it up with, does that make sense? Or, what do you think about that? This turns it from a statement into a conversation. Be ready to adapt. If you're asking for input, be prepared to adjust your idea based on what the other person says. Here's the thing, here's what I'm thinking, is more than just a phrase. It's a philosophy. It's about showing that your thoughts are not the only ones that matter. It's about inviting collaboration, building trust, and creating a sense of mutual respect. And if you're ever on the receiving end of this phrase, pay attention to how it's being used. Is the person genuinely inviting your perspective, or are they just trying to steer you toward their agenda? Understanding the intention behind the words can help you navigate the conversation more effectively. At the end of the day, here's what I'm thinking, is a reminder that the best persuasion doesn't feel like persuasion at all. It feels like teamwork, like respect, like being seen and heard. And isn't that what we're all looking for? So the next time you want to share an idea, try leading with, "Here's what I'm thinking," and see what happens. You might just find that it opens doors you didn't even know were there. 5. If I were in your shoes. Let's dive into one of the most classic ways people try to connect, advise, or persuade someone. If I were in your shoes. On the surface, it seems empathetic, putting yourself in someone else's position to offer perspective. But dig a little deeper, and this phrase becomes a double-edged sword, capable of profound connection or unintended condescension. Here's the honest part. If I were in your shoes works because it frames your advice as hypothetical. It softens the delivery and makes it feel less like a command and more like a suggestion. Instead of saying, "You should quit your job," you're saying, "If I were in your shoes, I'd seriously consider finding something better." It feels more palatable, less like someone telling you what to do with your life. But here's the controversy. Are you really in their shoes? Can you fully understand their struggles, their history, their constraints? Often this phrase can come across as arrogant or out of touch. Imagine telling a single parent juggling 2 jobs, "If I were in your shoes, I'd go back to school." It might be well-meaning, but it assumes they have the same resources, time, or support system as you. Instead of feeling encouraged, they might feel judged, or worse, dismissed. Now let me hit you with a personal story. A close friend of mine was debating whether to leave a toxic relationship. She confided in me, unsure of what to do. My instinct. Say, "If I were in your shoes, I'd leave him." But I paused. Who was I to say that? I wasn't living her life, feeling her fears, or walking her path. Instead I said, "If I were in your shoes, I'd think about what future me would want. Would she be proud of staying or leaving?" That small shift, acknowledging her unique experience while still offering perspective, made all the difference. She didn't feel judged. She felt empowered to think about her situation from a new angle, and eventually she made the decision that was right for her. But here's where it gets funny. "If I were in your shoes" can lead to some hilariously bad advice if you're not careful. I once said it to a friend who was trying to pick between 2 jobs. I told him, "If I were in your shoes, I'd pick the one with more creative freedom." He laughed and said, "If you were in my shoes, you'd also have $50 in your bank account and rent due next week." Touché. It was a reminder that while my perspective was valid, it wasn't the full picture. So, what's the deep message here? If I were in your shoes is a powerful tool for fostering connection, but only when it's used with humility and empathy. It's not about projecting your values or decisions onto someone else. It's about helping them explore their options while acknowledging the unique challenges they face. Here's how to use it well. Acknowledge the gaps. Start by admitting that you can't fully understand their situation. For example, "I know I can't completely grasp what you're going through, but if I were in your shoes, I might consider." Frame it as perspective, not truth. Emphasize that this is your personal take, not universal wisdom. For instance, if I were in your shoes, this is what I'd think about doing. But of course, only you know what's right for you. Be ready to listen. After offering your perspective, make space for them to share their thoughts. Does that resonate with you? Or are there other factors you're considering? And here's the flip side. If someone says this phrase to you, don't take it as gospel. Remember, they're not actually in your shoes. They might have insights you hadn't considered, but ultimately, you're the one who has to walk the path. At its core, "If I were in your shoes," is a reminder of the beautiful complexity of human connection. It's about stepping as close as you can to someone else's experience, while still respecting their autonomy. It's saying, "I see you, I care about you, and while I can't walk your journey for you, I'm here to offer what I can." So the next time you find yourself about to use this phrase, pause. Ask yourself, am I truly empathizing, or am I projecting my own story onto theirs? Because the real power of "if I were in your shoes" isn't in solving someone else's problems. It's in helping them see their own strength to solve them. All right, my friends, that's a wrap. Today, we dove headfirst into the world of words, the ones that can persuade, connect, and sometimes even stir the pot. But let's get real for a second. These phrases we've talked about aren't just magic tricks. They're tools. Tools that, when used thoughtfully, can build bridges, spark trust, and create real human connection. Here's the thing. Language is powerful. It's like a double-edged sword. It can cut through misunderstandings and doubts, or it can leave scars if wielded carelessly. The difference lies in how we use it. The phrases we've explored today, "I believe in you," "if I were in your shoes," and so on, are more than just words. They're an opportunity to say, "I see you, I hear you, and I'm here for you." But let me leave you with this. Persuasion isn't about control or trickery. It's not about getting your way. True persuasion comes from a place of respect and care. It's about opening doors, not closing them, about lifting someone up, not pulling them down. And when we approach our conversations with that mindset, we're not just persuading people, we're connecting with them on a deeper, more meaningful level. Let's not forget that words can also reveal who we are. The way we communicate reflects our character. Are we coming from a place of ego or empathy? Are we pushing our agenda, or are we genuinely trying to understand and help? These are questions worth asking, because the answers shape not only our relationships, but also the way we see ourselves. And hey, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I've definitely had my fair share of cringe-worthy moments where I said the wrong thing or used a phrase at the wrong time. But you know what? Those moments taught me more about communication than anything else. They reminded me that it's okay to fumble, as long as you're willing to learn and grow from it. So, before you head out to sprinkle these phrases into your own conversations, I've got a challenge for you. Try using them with intention. Think about the impact your words can have, not just in persuading someone, but in making them feel seen, heard, and valued. Whether you're at work, with friends, or even just chatting with a stranger, ask yourself, am I leaving this person better than I found them? Now, let's keep the conversation going. What's a phrase that has changed your life, for better or worse? Maybe it's one someone said to you, or one you've said to others that sparked something magical, or maybe disastrous. Drop your stories in the comments below. I'm always fascinated to hear how words shape people's lives. And hey, if this video gave you something to think about, or if it just gave you a good laugh, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click the notification bell so you don't miss out on more deep dives into the fascinating, funny, and sometimes downright tricky world of communication. Remember, at the end of the day, It's not about saying the perfect thing every time. It's about saying what feels true, kind, and real. So go out there, use your words wisely, and make someone's day a little brighter. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, the best conversations are the ones where everyone walks away feeling a little more understood. See you in the next video.